These are the visual testaments where the veils shrouding the deaths of beloved black icons are torn asunder, exposing the harrowing realities Hollywood has sought to conceal for decades. A final photograph of a majestic civil rights leader will leave you trembling as an assassin's gaze lingers in the background, or the haunting final image of a cherished child star clinging to life amidst medical machinery stands as a silent, deafening accusation against hidden, inhumane cruelties. Prepare for the revelation of the century. This journey through 50 final photographs will unmask the most agonizing visual legacies, stripping away every layer to lay bare the naked truth of these legends' final, fateful hours. Captured amidst the vibrant energy backstage at the Ebony Fashion Fair in Los Angeles, December 1964, this photograph shows Sam Cooke in conversation with Omega Sims following his triumphant 65-city tour. The image of this commanding king of soul at the absolute zenith of his fame stands in haunting contrast to the tragedy that unfolded just hours later. In a staggering turn of fate, the legendary singer was found shot to death the following morning at the Hacienda Motel, a seedy establishment on South Figueroa Street in Los Angeles, California. This photograph was captured within the suffocating confines of a New York recording studio in March 1959, as Billie Holiday labored to complete the final tracks for her self-titled album. The image reveals a frail Lady Day, her trembling hands clutching a glass beside the microphone. Her vacant gaze and gaunt features reflect a state of utter exhaustion, a haunting shadow of the resplendent jazz icon the world once knew. Taken a mere 4 months before her departure, this portrait serves as a prelude to her tragic passing on July 17, 1959, at Metropolitan Hospital, following the relentless complications of end-stage cirrhosis. This stark black and white frame seizes one of the final, fragile moments of the legendary Nat King Cole with a gaunt face and a body visibly ravaged by illness, struggling to walk, leaning heavily on the gentle support of his devoted wife, Mariah Cole, at St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica. At that moment, he was enduring grueling radiation for terminal lung cancer. This candid portrait lays bare the devastating decline of the icon's health after months of intensive yet futile treatment. On February 15, 1965, shortly after these haunting images were recorded, this musical giant passed away at the age of 45. This frame immortalizes Otis Redding beside his private Beechcraft H-18 in Cleveland on December 10, 1967. It remains the final glimpse of the soul singer before he boarded that fateful flight to Madison, Wisconsin. Tragedy struck just hours later when the aircraft plunged into the icy depths of Lake Monona, lost to treacherous weather and thick fog. This catastrophe silenced Otis Redding at only 26, just 3 days after he had recorded his timeless masterpiece, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay. This photograph shows Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. standing with his inner circle on the second-floor balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis on April 3, 1968. It is the very last image of the great minister taken while he was in town to support the black sanitation workers on strike. Tragedy struck the following evening, April 4th, when Dr. King returned to stand on that same balcony before heading out to dinner. A sniper's bullet fired by James Earl Ray hit him from across the street, taking the life of the world's greatest symbol of peace at only 39 years old. This photograph captures the moment Whitney Houston exited the True Hollywood nightclub in the early hours of February 10, 2012, following a pre-Grammy party. Earlier that evening, the legendary singer had been involved in a heated confrontation with Stacey Francis, an X Factor contestant, after spotting her in a close conversation with Ray J, Whitney's rumored flame at the time. As security intervened and escorted her out, the paparazzi caught her looking visibly shaken, with her hair disheveled and streaks of blood on her legs. These would be the final public images of the Voice before her body was discovered in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton the following afternoon. Her tragic passing was later ruled a drowning, complicated by the effects of heart disease and a cocaine overdose. This photograph captures the moment human rights activist Malcolm X was delivering his final plea for justice at the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem, New York, on the afternoon of February 21, 1965. Only seconds after this frame was recorded, the solemn atmosphere was torn asunder by gunfire. 3 assassins suddenly stormed the stage, opening fire at point-blank range with shotguns and pistols, taking his life right before the eyes of his wife and children. Taken in late 1963, this photograph shows Dinah Washington confined to a hospital bed, her face weary and frail after a long struggle with a severe decline in her health. Beside her, offering gentle and devoted care, is her close friend, the singer Brooke Benton. Before this, during her final performance at Robert's Show Club in Chicago in late November, the face of the Queen of the Blues had already begun to show the strain. Her vacant gaze and visible exhaustion told the story of a body pushed to the limit by years of battling insomnia and the heavy toll of diet pills. Only a short time after these hospital moments were recorded, in the early hours of December 14, 1963, Dinah Washington was found dead in her Detroit home at the age of 39, the victim of a sudden accidental overdose. Paparazzi caught this final glimpse of Prince as he left a local pharmacy on the evening of April 20, 2016. It was a desperate effort to secure painkillers amidst a spiraling opioid addiction, the tragic result of years spent secretly using high doses to numb his chronic hip pain. The most haunting detail is his all-black attire, which perfectly matches the clothing he was wearing when his body was discovered in an elevator at his Paisley Park estate the very next morning, just 15 hours after this image was released to the world. This final photograph of rapper Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight was taken inside their black BMW 750 IL on the fateful night of September 7, 1996, moments after they departed the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. At approximately 11:15 that evening, their vehicle was ambushed by gunfire from a white Cadillac near Harmon Avenue and Koval Lane. Tupac was struck 4 times, his chest, arm, and thigh ravaged by bullets. Suge Knight also sustained a head wound from flying shrapnel. After a 6-day struggle against his catastrophic injuries, Tupac Shakur passed away on September 13th. This heartwarming portrait preserves the radiant smile of Donny Hathaway alongside his wife and 2 daughters in early 1979. It's a beautiful, fleeting glimpse of a father's joy before the darkness took hold. Only a short time after this happy family moment, on January 13, 1979, the world was stunned when the body of the soul genius was discovered on the pavement below his 15th floor window at the Essex House Hotel. At the age of 33, Donny Hathaway was at the peak of his career, yet behind the music, he was exhausted from a private, agonizing battle with paranoid schizophrenia. This shot immortalizes a dapper Marvin Gaye in his signature white suit during the 1983 Midnight Love Tour. At this moment, the Prince of Soul was enjoying a triumphant comeback with his global hit, Sexual Healing. Looking at his radiant smile, you'd never guess the psychological struggles and family tensions that were simmering just out of sight. These were his final days in the spotlight before a heartbreaking tragedy unfolded. On April 1, 1984, just 1 day before he would have turned 45, the world lost this legendary voice when he was shot and killed by his own father during a heated argument in their family home. This black and white image is perhaps the most heartbreaking testament to Tammi Terrell's final days. Taken in 1970, it finds her at her vanity at home, her body weary from the brutal toll of chemotherapy and her battle with brain cancer. The camera catches a tender moment as a friend helps Tammi put on a wig, the one accessory that helped her hold on to a bit of confidence and hide the physical scars of her illness. It is a quiet, private scene of a woman trying to maintain her dignity amidst a storm. This shot forever freezes a fragile moment for the young icon. In March 1970, after 8 unsuccessful brain surgeries, Tammi Terrell took her final breath at the tender age of only 24. This startling image serves as a painful record of the final hours of Gary Coleman, the former child star who was once the highest-paid actor on television. The frame shows him lying motionless in a hospital bed at Utah Valley Regional Medical Center in late May 2010. His small frame is surrounded by life support machines and breathing tubes following a severe brain hemorrhage caused by a fall at his home. Coleman was in a deep coma when this was taken, with his ex-wife Shannon Price by his side. She later faced a wave of public outrage for allowing such a private, vulnerable moment to be sold to the tabloids just as he passed away. Earlier that year, the legendary actor had been spotted at a courthouse dealing with ongoing legal troubles. A sad contrast to the bright star the world once knew. Gary Coleman took his final breath on May 28, 2010, after life support was withdrawn. This image reveals a frail Sidney Poitier with a bandage on his head as he struggles to move with the support of a loved one outside a medical building in Beverly Hills. It remains a poignant glimpse of the legendary actor during his final days. Only a short time later, on January 6, 2022, Sidney Poitier passed away at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 94. His death was attributed to heart failure and late-stage Alzheimer's disease. This intimate portrait shows Louis Armstrong in a quiet, weary moment, using his handkerchief to wipe the sweat from his brow. It is a rare look at the man behind the music, stripped of his usual wide grin. Behind this single frame lies a sobering reality. The world's brightest musical icon was entering a stage of severe physical decline, with his heart and kidneys pushed to their absolute limits. After decades of pouring his soul into his trumpet and giving every breath to his audience, his body was finally calling for rest. Following a courageous battle with his failing health, Louis Armstrong passed away peacefully at his home on July 6, 1971. This frame documents Redd Foxx's final moments on the set of the sitcom The Royal Family in October 1991, just before one of the most ironic tragedies in American television history unfolded. On October 11th, while rehearsing a scene, Redd Foxx suddenly collapsed from a massive heart attack. The tragedy was that his co-stars and crew didn't realize the severity at first. They laughed, believing he was reprising his classic gag from Sanford and Son, where his character would fake a heart attack and call out to his late wife, "Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you." However, the famous fake heart attack became a real-life destiny right there under the studio lights. Redd Foxx passed away later that day at the age of 68. This photo shows Michael Jackson in his element, rehearsing for his This Is It comeback series at the Staples Center in Los Angeles on June 23, 2009. It was taken just 48 hours before the King of Pop was found dead in his home from acute drug intoxication. Behind the high-energy performance, Michael's body was hollowed out by exhaustion and the suffocating pressure of the media. To keep up with his grueling schedule, he turned to powerful and dangerous sedatives as a final lifeline, a desperate measure that ultimately proved fatal. This final image finds King Curtis lost in rehearsal alongside Duane Allman for a broadcast at WPLJ in 1971. Just weeks after this session, on the night of August 13, 1971, a sudden confrontation with drug dealers outside his Upper West Side apartment ended in a fatal stabbing. The king of the saxophone was taken far too soon at the age of 37. This frame portrays former child prodigy Frankie Lyman during a 1967 performance at the Fun City Cabaret as he made a final, desperate attempt to reclaim his place in music at age 25. The shot exposes the harsh reality of a forgotten star, struggling with a severe heroin addiction and a solo career that plummeted following a turbulent adolescence and the loss of his signature soprano voice. Only months after this moment, and shortly after being discharged from the Army for drug use, Lyman was found dead of an overdose in his grandmother's Harlem apartment. This final document shows Bob Marley at a hotel in Munich where he was desperately placing his hopes in alternative cancer treatments. The king of reggae appears heartbreakingly thin and frail, a devastating contrast to the high-energy icon who once shook the world's biggest stages. On May 11, 1981, Bob Marley took his last breath in Miami after battling the spread of malignant cancer to his brain and lungs. This image preserves a vibrant moment of Christopher Wallace known to the world as the notorious B.I.G., at a late-night party hosted by Vibe magazine at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles on March 8, 1997. Just minutes after leaving the event in the early hours of March 9th, while sitting in his Chevrolet Suburban at a red light, Biggie was killed in a sudden drive-by shooting. This 1953 portrait offers a stark close-up of Charlie Parker, showing his visible physical decline after years of battling drug and alcohol addiction. The shot reveals the weary exhaustion of the architect of bebop as he struggled with failing health before his tragic passing in March 1955 from pneumonia, a heart attack, and advanced cirrhosis. At only 34 years old, Bird's body was so worn down that the medical examiner mistakenly estimated his age to be in his early 50s. This snapshot preserves Aaliyah's final smile on a beach in the Bahamas on August 25, 2001. She had just finished filming the last scenes for her Rock the Boat music video, only hours before one of the most shocking tragedies in music history. The Cessna 402B carrying Aaliyah and her team crashed shortly after takeoff at 6:50 p.m. due to being overloaded, claiming the lives of all 9 people on board. At just 22 years old, the sudden loss of the Princess of R&B was a devastating blow. It turned those beautiful seaside scenes into the most stunning yet haunting farewell in the history of music. This frame is a still from a personal documentary filmed by Lisa Left Eye Lopez herself during a spiritual retreat in Honduras in April 2002. It shows the TLC star holding the camera, seeking inner healing in a remote land, completely unaware that she was capturing the final moments of her life. The stillness of the image shattered shortly after this when the vehicle Lisa was driving suddenly rolled over on April 25, 2002, as she swerved to avoid a collision. At age 30, the talented rapper passed away, leaving behind this self-shot footage as a haunting, unfinished testament to her journey for freedom. This snapshot finds Shorty Long standing at a dock on the Detroit River during a summer day in 1969. A devastating reality unfolded just hours after this picture was taken. On June 29, 1969, the boat carrying Shorty Long and a friend suddenly capsized on the Detroit River after being struck by the wake of a large vessel. The tragic accident claimed the life of the 29-year-old singer, cutting a promising career short. This candid shot captures a relaxed moment for trumpet genius Lee Morgan at Slug's Saloon in New York in February 1972. Unaware that only minutes later, his common-law wife, Helen Moore, would shoot him in the chest during a jealous confrontation. This frame forever freezes the final peaceful instant of a legend, turning Slug's Saloon that night into the scene of one of the most shocking tragedies of passion in music history. This press photo captures the final public appearance of Medgar Evers as he stood with a delegation outside the NAACP headquarters in Washington, D.C. on June 12, 1963. It hides the looming horror that only hours later he would be assassinated by a sniper's bullet right on his own doorstep. The most chilling detail of this image is the presence of a suspicious-looking stranger standing behind the group. Later journalistic investigations raised a shocking question. Was this the killer silently stalking his prey before the brutal attack? This frame forever freezes the final triumphant moment of a civil rights icon while unintentionally documenting a dark conspiracy, making it one of the most haunting and suspenseful records in American political history. This image serves as the rawest evidence of David Ruffin's downfall during his final night of excess in Philadelphia on June 1, 1991. This truth-unveiling paparazzi shot was taken inside a drug den where white powder scattered on the table, despite attempts to hide it from the lens, reveals the traces of a life haunted by addiction. It is a stark, unglamorous look at a superstar's private chaos. Only hours after this moment, David Ruffin was pronounced dead from an overdose, a tragic victim of the White Death at the age of 50. This final portrait of Jimi Hendrix was captured on September 17, 1970, by his girlfriend, Monica Danneman, in the garden of the Samarkand Hotel in London. Behind this serene frame lies a chilling reality. The guitar legend would pass away just 24 hours later. The cause was determined to be asphyxiation on his own vomit after taking an overdose of sleeping pills combined with wine. This image serves as a devastating testament to the fall of an icon. Eazy-E, the leader of NWA, passed away from AIDS-related complications on March 26, 1995. His final portrait is a somber one taken shortly before or during his hospitalization. The image shocked the world, revealing the rapid physical decline of a hip-hop giant just weeks after his diagnosis. This haunting frame documents the final hours of Roger Troutman, the frontman of Zapp, at his private recording studio in Dayton, Ohio on April 25, 1999. The moment was captured just hours before the musical genius was brutally shot and killed by his brother and longtime manager, Larry Troutman. Following a bitter dispute over finances and family, Larry took Roger's life before turning the gun on himself in a nearby car. This paparazzi shot offers a brutal look at the final hours of Wynonie Harris, exposing the total exhaustion of the king of shouting inside a dim nightclub in 1969. The moment uncovers a grim reality. A life of excess with alcohol and tobacco had completely withered the singer's body. He passed away from esophageal cancer at age 53, shortly after this image was taken. This frame documents the final stage moments of Jackie Wilson, known as Mr. Excitement, at the Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, on the night of September 29, 1975. While performing his hit Lonely Teardrops right as he sang the line, "My Heart is Crying," Wilson suddenly collapsed from a massive heart attack. The audience initially cheered, thinking it was part of his high-energy choreography. But in reality, he had fallen into an immediate coma. This tragic fall left him in a vegetative state for over 8 years until his passing in 1984. Taken in a studio in 1937, this portrait is one of only 2 rare pieces of evidence proving the existence of Robert Johnson, the man who planted the first seeds of rock and roll through the legend of the Crossroads deal. The true shock lies in his eerie end just 1 year later, when Johnson became the first member of the infamous 27 Club. At the peak of his mastery, he was brutally murdered in 1938 by a jealous husband who poisoned his whiskey at a local juke joint. This image shows Mabel King in the late 1990s, a time when her health had severely declined due to the brutal complications of diabetes. She is seen relying entirely on oxygen tubes to sustain her life. After years of courageously fighting the illness, including the immense pain of losing both of her legs to amputation, Mabel King took her final breath on November 18, 1999, in Los Angeles at the age of 66. This photograph serves as a haunting indictment of the final hours of Mary Wells. Once the brightest star of Motown, she is seen here hunched in a small street corner, her face marked by the devastation of laryngeal cancer and the demon of poverty. The shot exposes a tragic reality. Mary Wells passed away at age 49 on July 26, 1992, in total financial ruin, without health insurance, surviving only on small donations from old friends during her final days. This frame catches Rick James in his element at a recording studio on July 8, 2004, as he was putting the finishing touches on his Urban Rhapsody album. Less than a month later, on August 6, 2004, the music icon was found dead at his Los Angeles home. His passing was attributed to heart and pulmonary failure, the tragic culmination of a long battle with diabetes, post-stroke complications, and an enlarged heart. Captured by photographer Carl Van Vechten in New York on February 3, 1937, this black and white portrait radiates the powerful, confident spirit of the Empress of the Blues. At the time, she was at a peak, planning a major career revival following the Great Depression. However, just 7 months after this image was taken, on September 26, 1937, her life was cut short in a horrific car accident on Highway 61 in Mississippi. This haunting photograph serves as a somber record of Esther Phillips performing on one of her final stages in 1984. Behind the microphone, the singer was struggling under the long shadow of heroin, an addiction that haunted so many legends of jazz and blues. Only months after this moment, on August 7, 1984, Esther Phillips passed away at age 48, succumbing to severe liver and kidney failure caused by years of substance abuse. This vibrant shot immortalizes Phyllis Hyman's brilliant performance at the Blue Note in New York on the night of June 30, 1995. She had stepped in last minute for an ailing Roberta Flack, giving a performance that would be her last. Just hours after this photo was taken, and only a week before her 46th birthday, the singer was found unconscious in her apartment. This glamorous image was the final mask for a soul struggling with bipolar disorder and deep-seated psychological pain. This image serves as a painful testament to the decline of Howard Rollins at a private nightclub during his final days. Appearing unrecognizable, he attempted to hide his identity behind layers of flamboyant costumes and makeup. At this time, the actor was being ravaged by drug addiction and complications from AIDS. On December 8, 1996, he passed away in solitude at a New York hospital at the age of 46, shortly after this notorious photo was taken. This frame documents the final display of resilience by Bernard Edwards on stage at the Budokan Arena in Tokyo on April 17, 1996. Despite a severe illness tearing through his body and pleas from his partner, Nile Rodgers, to cancel, the bass legend refused to give in, using his last bit of strength to finish the set. After leaving the stage with the gentle words, "I'm okay, I just need a little rest," he was found dead in his hotel room just hours later from acute pneumonia. This 1975 portrait captures Florence Ballard during a final attempt to revive her career with ABC Records. The image exposes the brutal marks of alcoholism and the pain of a fallen star who was once the heart of the Supremes. This would be her last public image. Less than a year later, in February 1976, the Forgotten Rose passed away suddenly from a heart attack at age 32, living in poverty. This paparazzi shot offers a grim look at the desperate final days of Dorothy Dandridge. It unveils the frail reality of a star sitting in a small bar as her career hit rock bottom, an icon rejected by Hollywood and stripped of her fortune by financial fraud. The shock of this image lies in her haunting end. On September 8, 1965, she was found nude and lifeless on her bathroom floor with only a few dollars left in her bank account. Her death was ruled an overdose of antidepressants. This photograph finds Vesta Williams at one of her last public events in 2011, completely masking the reality of a failing heart and the psychological struggles that led to her tragic end. On September 22, 2011, she was found dead in an El Segundo hotel room. While there were early suspicions of an overdose, her official cause of death was later ruled as complications from an enlarged heart. This vibrant frame preserves the final performance of Robin Harris at the Regal Theater in Chicago on March 17, 1990. The stand-up star commanded the stage with his natural wit, hiding the fact that his body was exhausted from a heavy workload and chronic health issues. After his explosive set, Harris was found dead in his room at the Four Seasons at just 36 years old, the victim of sudden heart failure triggered by sleep apnea and total exhaustion. Titled "The Old Lion in Winter," this portrait offers a final glimpse of Paul Robeson during his total withdrawal from public life. The civil rights icon was battling deep depression and severe health issues at the time. This powerful moment was captured just 2 years before he passed away in 1976, leaving behind a legacy of courage and struggle. This rare image captures a fading media icon, Max Robinson, as he battled AIDS in the shadows of stigma and solitude. The frame reveals a gaunt and hollow version of the once polished and powerful ABC News anchor. Robinson kept his illness a secret until the very end, fearing the backlash of the era. He passed away at Howard University Hospital at age 49 due to complications from the virus. This radiant shot finds actress Michelle Thomas at the premiere of The Blade in August 1998, one of her final public appearances. Looking vibrant in elegant white with her signature smile, few knew she was privately fighting a rare form of stomach cancer. Despite multiple surgeries, her condition failed to improve. This photo was taken just 4 months before she took her final breath on December 23, 1998. Some departed amidst betrayal, others fell to the hidden shadows of their own souls. But no matter how tragic the end, these final frames have fulfilled their ultimate mission, to preserve these fateful moments so that these legends may live on forever in our memory. If these images from our collection moved you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos where we continue to delve into the hidden corners, the untold fates, and the raw truths of the celebrity world.